So welcome to another episode of the Board Game Blitz by the Player's Aid. I'm Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And today we're taking a look at 65, which is a Vietnam tactical squad level war game. It's by Flying Pig Games, and it was designed and made by Mark Walker. And we just played Old School Tactical of his, and this one just came fresh off the Kickstarter, and you can watch the unboxing videos for this and all the stretch goals, and I'll put links for those in the description. So, we just finished playing our first game of this. First impressions are, I really like it. Love the Vietnam theme. I'll play any Vietnam war game. The production quality is fantastic, and the game itself was, once we got the rules, I felt like it was very fast paced, and once we got into it, it's a good squad level game with, I feel like, not a lot of pieces. So you're not worrying about 100 different things. The hexes are big, the counters are big. There's just not that much on the board. It's something I really like about the game.
Reminds me a little bit of 100 Days 20 with, that's a system that's only, it's 20 or less counters. So I felt like that was close to this. I also liked it, but I'm going to reserve judgment about whether I really like it until we at least play maybe one or two other times. I will say that when I played Old School Tactical, I immediately liked it after we got the rules down.
Yeah.
I feel like with this, we struggled significantly the first 2 or 3 rounds of the scenario because we were misinterpreting the rules. Basically, we were using the targeting rules for vehicles. So it made any ranged attack over basically 3 squares virtually impossible. We figured that out. We corrected that. I think once we got those rules more down, I think the game made more sense to me and clicked.
Yeah, obviously. When you play the game right, it's a great game.
Yeah, isn't that usually the case?
Yeah. But outside of that, that was my mistake. But I think my concern with the game is the rule book itself. It's not particularly intuitively organized and laid out. I would like to see more subheadings and numbers for reference so I can more easily navigate. Like I'm looking for the rules for Shaken, and there's not like a Shaken subheading under under a unit subsection. It's just
a glossary.
Kind of go through it all.
Glossary style index would be great. I think most of the tactical games that we played, Combat Commander, for example, has a great glossary index. And you can literally look alphabetically and go to the page.
Even OST has everything.
Some of it,
so it's really easy to
find.
Skim. Very easy to skim. This is less so. And I read the rules last night, and it was still a struggle to get through some of the nuances of it. And there's some errors and grammar stuff going on here, which lead to vagaries or just confusion at times. So we had to, kind of make a ruling on that.
Right. Card-driven aspect I really liked. I thought that's a very good, well-done part of the game. And if you look at the cards, we're not going to show you, but there are 3 sections basically on each card. And they all have kind of different, unrelated aspects. One might be a fire, the other one might be a rally or something, and then the bottom is used only when you're pulling for hits with like artillery attacks and fire attacks, etc. But it seemed to me, and I don't know that you feel the same way, it was very hard to use several of the cards. They seemed very, only limited to a very specific use, and it just seems so frustrating that it would say fire ... right, and then there would be a sentence following it, and it would say things like unless you have this or unless you have that, and that seemed to be frustrating several times. I know I laid a card down and said I'm going to fire, and then I'd be like nope, let me take that back. I think you did that as well, and that will improve with us just getting more comfortable with the game and the system.
Yeah.
But did like the CDG element. I like card-driven games.
And it's a very tight one. You have 4 cards in your hand only.
Right.
You don't have, there's not, there's not a lot to choose from, and it's trying to make the best out of a really small selection of cards that you have.
With the CDG element, one that I think I didn't like was, I think there were 3 game end cards in the deck, and when all 3 game end cards come out, the round ends. And this scenario had 7 rounds, and they just seemed to come out so quickly. There were a couple times where I think by the time we had done 2 actions apiece, they started coming out, and they all came at once. That's a random thing. It's not going to happen every time.
That's something I did like.
You did like that?
There's variability in the turn length, but also that you never know, so it's like, gotta do it.
Right.
And that, that also makes the game play very quickly as well.
Yeah.
But, we blasted through the rounds after the first two or so.
It's interesting you say that. It made you feel like you have to do it. At the very end, I knew it was coming close, and I knew I needed to own that building hex, and I wanted to try to at least kill one or two of your people. Another thing I liked was these bonus objective cards, bonus victory conditions. The one I had that I ended up accomplishing was eliminate one opposing MG team. And I did that actually with a melee, and that was kind of cool. Yours was a little harder. Yours said kill 25% more of the enemy's units than you lose. I killed 2 of your units, so you would have had to have killed 3, and you killed...
I killed one. So it was just...
So that would have made it very hard, and you ended up winning the scenario. I scored 6 points, but had to lose a point because I lost a unit. So basically I lost by one point.
Which, struggling through it and learning the game and it being a 1-point game, that to me shows that, there's some balance to it.
Balanced,
and, so even just learning the game, you'll have a good time, and a fair time at least, scoring-wise at the end. Something that appeals to me about the game is, and this is cheating, all the extra stuff in the game. There's so many more scenarios, there's so many vehicles, so many different things to do. All the Kickstarter stretch goals add so much more to the game. There's a whole solitaire variant. That's a big appeal to me. There's so much in this box now. That's something that I'm very excited for this game, and it warrants more plays in my book. I'm a big fan of this already, I think.
So 2 other comments. One, I felt like the lethalness of this game was a lot less than Old School Tactical.
Yeah.
Each unit can be shaken first, then reduced, and then eliminated. So when you have a stack of 3 or 4 units, it became very, very difficult to really kill. You do some shakens, but it was very hard to get through that stack and really get to the kill. And that was something I think with old school Tactical, and I felt like once we got it going, it was boom, 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 killed 2 guys, and it was over. Less lethal to me. That may be thematic because the VC they didn't really stand up and fire at you. It was hide and hit and run and that kind of thing.
And I think the movement's also thematic. It's pretty slow going through the jungle and the bush.
Very slow. The other thing we liked was the melee. We always love melee. In fact, we always kind of laugh. We try to look for melee opportunities. Great system with that melee. I think it is very lethal. Particularly if one side is shaken or reduced. If you go into that, you're going to be killing a lot rather than just...
Before they can counter it.
Right, and the losses get taken off, and then you have to strike back with what you've got. I like that aspect.
But if everyone's in good standing, you just exchange hits, and that's also just... It's very, very bloody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed this game a lot. This gets big thumbs up for me, and I can't wait to play again. What about you?
I enjoyed it, but I think I want to reserve judgment about what I really feel about the game until we play at least 1 or 2 more scenarios. I can see greatness there. I can see good things. I just need to understand it better, and hopefully it flows.
And overcome our own struggles. We shot ourselves in the foot a few times, I think.
Rules always seem to be a problem, but we won't let rules stand in the way of having fun.
So thanks very much for watching. That was the Board Game Blitz, and this was 65.